Okay, so here we are. So I had a busy week this week. So it's going to be really hard for me to make videos and put them up every single day. But I figured I would record my trades, the few trades that I was going to be able to take. And then at the end of the week, I would go ahead and put up a video showing you how I grew my XFA and how I grew my live funded account. And how everything is good and we're just moving right along, going the right direction. But the market had other ideas. And I was a bit of a dum-dum on top of it. So it turned out to be a pretty rough week overall. And then I'm good with it. Like, I feel good about it. I'm happy about it. I'm not down about it at all. But I decided I would change it up. I was going to make the video and show you the trades. But it's going to be a really long video for me to show you all the trades, explain to you what took place, and what I'm going to do going forward. So I figured I would just kind of skip all of that and just kind of go over everything like this in a different format today. And then at the end, tell you what the plan is going forward. All right, so here we are with my XFA, the 50K XFA right here. So 7 days into my 50K XFA and disaster, right? Just, it's not good. Not good at all. Started off okay and then just crashed this thing. And the combine, if you remember, I'll show you real quick. This was my combine, a mess. And then I was off to a good streak. And if you added that with my XFA right now, you'd see it rolling over and then crashing back down again. So if you recall, if you're here in the beginning, if not, then you obviously don't. But when I started this XFA, I said I wanted to do an XFA where I didn't trade using any technical indicators of any kind, strictly just trade off the charts. That was the plan. So I wanted to do something different. And, I didn't sim trade and put together a thing and test it for 6 months and all the stuff that I would normally want to do because I'm trying to make content for my YouTube channel and I don't have that kind of time. So I figured I would get a combine and just wing it with that idea and see what happens. So if you're brand new to trading, one of the things that's really important is your trading personality, which can be very different than your everyday personality. The hard thing is, how do you know what your trading personality is if you've never done any trading? And I think journaling is a key factor in that. As you start trading anything, just get in a sim and just start pushing buttons and then journal about your feelings, why you made decisions that you might have made. And if you're honest with yourself, if you're in tune with yourself, you could start to recognize things. And it might not be the first day. It could be several days or weeks before you start to see things. And you can look back in your journal and be like, oh yeah, look at that. And you'll start to see your trading personality. And I think every trader has to go through that on their journey. And once they really identify their trading personality, they're able to put together a better trade plan to fit that trading personality, which then can help you become successful. So I'm going to show you a chart. So when I look at a chart like this, we're looking at Thinkorswim right now. I have no idea, as this chart is developing, when a trade is going to set up. These are 30-minute candles. That's a lot of hours right here. Looking at this chart saying, when is this trade going to set up? It could be the 1-minute chart, same thing, 5-minute chart, especially the 1-minute chart where everything's happening a lot faster. And when I'm not sure when a trade's going to set up, I don't see any kind of signs saying it's almost there. And in about 15 minutes, there could be a trade. I'll come back in 15 minutes. 5 minutes, I'm really far away from a trade. I'm probably not going to have a trade today the way this chart's looking. Like, I don't get that when I look at the charts. I don't get that like heads up that a trade is coming. Or at least I don't feel confident in getting that. And I've missed many trades. Even today, I missed the trade that would have taken my XFA to a whole nother level. I'd be way in the green looking for payouts next week if I didn't miss the trade I missed this morning. And that's because when I look at my chart, I didn't see it setting up right away. Like, I didn't know, like, hey, I should be waiting in 5 minutes. This trade could be here. I walked away, came back, and missed it. And that's how it goes a lot for me if I'm just trying to trade off the charts. So one thing I learned about my personality in this process with this new combine and XFA is that if I sit here just looking at the chart, waiting for a trade, it's very hard for me to put energy into other things. Like, I can't work on other projects. I can't do anything. Like, I'm kind of like just glued to the chart waiting. Is a trade going to set up? Is one going to set up? No, maybe not. Soon, hopefully. And I'm stuck there for hours potentially. Yeah, sometimes all day. Other times maybe an hour doing that to myself. And I'm like, maybe I should just get in here. And then I could start convincing myself to try to get into trades because I'm just so hyper focused on the charts. So let me show you something else. Okay, so I've added the MACD to this chart because I figure that's something that you all can relate to, or many of you can. Something you can easily pull up in your own trading windows and stuff like that. If I said I'm only taking trades as part of my system when the MACD is crossing over, and I come and I look at the chart, the crossover is here, right? It already crossed over here. If I took that trade, it would have been nice. But if my chart looked like this, and I didn't see any crossover, and I came in, I'm looking at it, this is the first candle I see, I look at this, I'm like, wow, most likely I have no trades going to be setting up anytime soon. But then down here, if I look at it and I'm like, oh, MACD is flattening out, there might be a trade setting up soon. Let me start paying attention. Oh, the MACD is on its way up. So now we might actually have a trade I can get into. Let me sit here and really start to focus on the charts. Let me back it up here. So same thing coming in from the evening session. If I show up at my computer in the morning, I'm like, oh, I only want to take a trade when the MACD crosses over on its way up here. I can be like, oh, I might have a trade here soon, maybe in the next 30 minutes or so, maybe in an hour. As the MACD is crossing over, I'm like, oh, this might be a trade setup. And then I can look and verify other things that tell me that I want to take this trade, because I know I'm not taking trades unless this crosses over, right? But then it crosses over to the downside. Same thing. It's flattened out. I'm like, oh, I might. So having indicators, and I'm not saying to trade like that, traders, because you can get chopped up with the MACD pretty bad if you're just trading with it by itself as a standard setup. But just as an example, when I have these visuals on the chart for me, it helps free my mind to not be focused on my chart, because I focus more on the technical indicators that I'm using and not the charts themselves, to look for a signal of when I should start to focus on my chart. I'm not trading off this alone, but it does help me say, hey, you're on deck. Get ready to start swinging. There might be a base hit for you right here, or there might be a home run swing coming up for you here based on what's happening. So I found that this is really important for my trading personality to help keep me from being focused on the chart here and getting sucked into it, and then starting to force trades because nothing's happening, and I feel like I want to get some value out of my time spent staring at this. After an hour or 2 hours go by and I do nothing, I feel like I'm wasting my day. I did nothing today, wasted my day. And I'm the kind of person who needs to be doing something. I have to be accomplishing something, creating something. I have to be doing something. And when I'm just stuck here looking at this, I'm not satisfying my emotional side of things and my trading, my personality in general. I'm not satisfying. So having this indicator will free me again to focus on do other things so I can feel accomplished at the same time as have a heads up of when trades are setting up so I can take trades. So I'm going to go back to adding indicators to my trading to be able to help with my trading personality and my overall emotional fitness, as well as my personality in general, because right now I've been tied up a lot on the charts, and it's been hard for me to do other things and trade and make content. So I've had to make a choice between the two, and that's why I haven't put up as much content or as much trades, which also is affecting my YouTube channel. If you remember from my live account, when I passed my combine with really high percentage rates of everything, got into my live account, or got into my XFA, passed that thing, and did all that, I was posting every day, in and out of trades. It was easy, and that's because I was using my indicator, so I was able to focus on other things, including to start processing videos before the trading day was even over, because I had that. My mind was free to do that. So something to think about, traders, when you're trading, do you find yourself getting sucked into the chart to where you start forcing trades? You're like, good enough. Or do you find yourself sitting there feeling like you have to take a trade because if not, you wasted 3 hours of your day or 4 hours of your day and you weren't productive? Is that something that's in your personality? Or are you someone who can just sit there, stare at a chart for 8 hours, do nothing, accomplish nothing, have nothing to show for your time, and you're still good with it, like it doesn't bother you whatsoever? Is that the kind of person that you are? If it is, that's great. You probably could just stare at the charts all day long and be focused on them, and even trade on the 1 minute or 10-second chart and literally just never look away all day long and feel good about your day, even if you didn't take any trade. And that's great. but I can't do that. And if you're somebody like me that's out there, something to think about. Maybe there's an adjustment that can be made there to help you better manage your trading personality. All right, so I blew up my XFA today. So XFA is gone, 50K is gone, right? That's why I'm going to start a new one and do it differently, which we'll talk about at the end here. Trading off the charts and making mistakes and stuff like that in general is not why I blew up my XFA today. I blew up my XFA for two reasons. Three reasons really. I made mistakes. The market did what the market is going to do. You know, it is what it is there. And I made some mistakes in NinjaTrader that I found out about that I wish they would change. Let me show you what I'm talking about in NinjaTrader. Okay, so a while back in a video, I showed you how in NinjaTrader, if you click on your order quantity, if you use a scroll on your mouse, you can change that. And if you click down in this black area and you scroll your mouse, it still keeps on moving. So you end up having to click in the chart to get rid of that. Or if you scroll in it and then you hit enter while you're in here, it still stays. Like I can still scroll around. The only way I know of to get rid of this is to click in the chart. If I click the arrows and then I scroll later, see how it's still moving? Same thing. All right, so learn that lesson. Wish NinjaTrader would fix that, so it didn't do that, but it is what it is. Well, what I also found out on Sunday night when I was playing in the sim is that happens with your account selection. So I logged into my XFA, switched over to my sim to play with it, and then what I found is once you click in here, you can see how it's kind of highlighted blue there. Maybe you can see it on your device, whatever you're watching it on. If you scroll the mouse, it also scrolls your account. So if you're down in the black area here and you scroll the mouse, it won't scroll the account. But if you're anywhere near it, so I'm not going to say you can easily move it like you can here where it's, you know, pretty much anywhere the mouse is, it scrolls unless you click in the chart. At least over here, once you click in if you click in the black area, it doesn't go away. You click in the chart, it'll go away as well. But when you're in here, you have to be close to it for it to scroll. But if you're moving your mouse around while you're moving your charts and you're doing things and you leave your mouse, you come back, you're like, oh, let me see what's up here. And then you come back over here and it automatically scrolls. So I scrolled into my XFA account and took some casino trades, which I was sim trading. And those are, you know, they're good setups, but it's a casino trade because I'm not ready to trade it yet. And the risk was way too high. So I just had to jump out with like a $400 or $500 loss on the night. So that happened to me twice, which the second time I discovered it right away, I figured out what was happening. But I just want to make you aware of that. If you click in any of these and then you scroll your mouse wheel, you may change it. So be careful on that. Let's see. It doesn't do it on the, does it? No. Okay. Yeah, if you're close to the ATM strategy, well, you got to be, see, yeah, if you're close to it, it'll still, ATM strategy will move as well. So just got to be careful. If you click into these and then you scroll your mouse wheel, you may scroll those. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. All right, so that's my dilemma with NinjaTrader. Okay, so yeah, so when you're a NinjaTrader, something to think about, traders, be careful with that. So today, this was my trade today. How awesome was this, right? This was my trade right here. I planned to get in right there. And I could show you the whole video. I did record today's trades. I'm just trying to make this video shorter so that you're not sitting here for a 45-minute video. But right here, I was going to jump into that trade and not expect this giant sell-off. Just look for this. I'm looking for a move down here. I only had about $80 left on my account to lose on my XFA because of that mistake I made with NinjaTrader. So this was the trade. I was waiting for like that perfect setup where I could have the opportunity to really like low risk trade on the MNQ and just easy money, get me a buffer, and then let me start grinding back out. This huge consolidation right here, looking for a breakdown of that consolidation, was my huge probability. 1-to-1 risk reward, knowing that there could be a move down to here, and I only needed to catch a piece of it. I didn't need to catch the whole thing. I was just trying to catch a piece. Potentially, if everything went really well, there could be a move all the way to the bottom of this. Get through all this support area that should have been right through here, and then catch possibly a bounce off the bottom of this if everything went really well. So I can risk this small little piece here for at least this, which is, just catching a piece of the potential move on the trend with the possibility of all this. So basically risking 1 with the possibility of making like 6 or 7 on this trade or more, but at least a 1-to-1 at the minimum, giving myself the buffer. Like this was the absolute perfect setup. I'm like, yes, finally I have a great setup. I'm going to recover this account. I'm going to make so much money. So I already marked this up way back here. And it said, if this wants to break down today, this is what I'm going to be looking at. So 9:30 is back here. I was already marked up and ready around 9:15. Waiting. Bouncing off this support. Okay. Let me walk out real quick, do a couple things like make breakfast for the little ones, stuff like that. So let me go do that real quick and I'll come back in. I come back in and this move had already happened just like that. Boom. So I missed the move and just that time to go make breakfast and come back. And then there's no trade. I mean, the trade is over. Now my risk reward is way off. I didn't expect this. Look at the sell-off today. Look at that. I did not expect that to happen. I mean, had I known that was going to happen, it'd be a different story. I'm going back to the 30-minute. So I missed the move. There. Traders, I wasn't able to capitalize on it. So that's too bad. In the NQ, I need a move like this because this move is going to go fast like it did. And I didn't have the room with NQ or MNQ for it to like breathe that whole lot because I would have blown up my account. I only have $80 of space, even on the micro. So I went over to the YM because the YM is more, more forgiving, if you will. The moves here are going to be smaller dollar-wise, so I could afford it. And I was looking at a move. Right now we're in my live account, so I don't have the chart marked up for that move, unfortunately. Like the little dots from the trade that actually took place today. I ended up jumping into the YM to the short side, which was a nice short. I was looking for it to follow. The ES had sold off. The NQ had sold off big. Both of those have sold off huge. And then right here, I was like, oh, we're going to break. This is going to follow the other two. Yes, it's not a W pattern. And yes, it's not an M pattern. And I probably should have just waited for that in the NQ, but I didn't. And I figured this was going to sell off with everything else. Why wouldn't it? And I jumped in short, and then it turned around on me, and it was game over for my Express funded account, is what took place there. Now, in my live account, you're looking at right now, I'm down $845 here. And that trade, I'm going to show you that trade. Let me insert that right here so you can see what took place. I wonder how many times that happened before I got back to the computer. So I had my ATM on too tight, so it was switching back and forth here. Let's see, what are you going to do? All right, we'll do that.
Stop, Phil.
All right, so $860 down on that trade.
Order submitted.
Okay, so I'm short 3 contracts. All right, looks like we're going to just have a bang-up kind of day today. I don't know what happened that first trade. I was thinking about getting into the YM. Started setting up a trade on my computer, framing it out, as Mitch says. And left my room and came back into my ATM strategy, banging back and forth.
Stop, Phil.
All right, there we go. So out of that trade, $1,600 loss in the day. So I did not want to risk that much today, just a fraction of that. So I do not know what happened this morning. Just perfect timing to walk away right when the market was opening as I was framing out a trade, and wasn't recording it or anything yet because I didn't plan on being in a trade. So I came back to ATM banging around and just back and forth and back and forth. It looks like with 4 contracts. I don't know. Looking for a bounce off of here. Right? Look at that rejection into the zone. Coming back up. Looking for another run back up top. Or a sell-off and a break below again. Reverse my position and ride it to the downside.
Order submitted.
But if this wants to make a run all the way back up here, this could be a good trade. Recover some of my loss from the day. Yep. If I had 4 contracts right now, it'd be looking awesome. That's a pretty huge rejection here off that low. I'm going to switch over to 30-minute candles so you can see this a little better. Look at that rejection right there. All the way down here, rejecting all the way back up. It wants to go green. I might add to my position. Got 10 minutes left.
Order submitted.
All right, if that wants to turn green, I'm going to add to this position. And you see all that banging around right there from the ATM strategy?
Order filled.
Man, I can't believe that. All right, so now I got 2 to the long side there. Just added to my position based on the 30-minute candle. All right, I'm going to lock in that profit up here. I really want to lock it in at that green.
Stop
Okay,
failed.
at that green line, but we're so close to that green line. Just going to lock it in there. So take that $845 roughly on that trade. So that'll put me down on the day, $845. So a pretty nice recovery. I do wish I had 4 contracts or 5 contracts. So it would have been up over $1,000 on the day. It would have been sweet. All right, so you can see I was a dum-dum. That's what it comes down to. I was a dum-dum. Could have been some good trading. But over here, I had my ATM strategy. And for those of you who don't trade with NinjaTrader, you can come over here and hit custom, and you can create an ATM strategy. This lets you pick, how many contracts do you want to buy when you choose the strategy? 1, 2, whatever you want it to be. It lets you choose if you're going to go off of currency, price, all kinds of stuff in here. Where's your stop? My stop's going to be if the ticker moves 10 ticks, 10%. I can do that too. 13% move. Put my stop loss in. You can choose what you want this to be. And then what you can do is you can come down here and say reverse my trade. Reverse my trade at the stop or at the target. All kinds of other options here. So on my ATM strategy, what you saw there was basically it was too tight. My stop and target was too tight for the volatility on the day. Therefore, it kept bouncing back and forth and just chopped me to pieces. And that is what it is. I'm not too worried about the live account, even though I've been trading it that much and it doesn't look great down here at $6,400. I still feel very confident about what I'm doing with the live account. Market just hasn't been, for me in the live account lately. It just hasn't been in my favor. And that will return. That's how the market goes. It goes up, down, and sideways. And some people trade better in an uptrending market. Some people trade better in a downtrending market. And some people trade better in a sideways market. For me, I trade better in a long trending market, not a choppy market or a sideways market. And right now the markets have been very choppy and sideways. Let me show you. Yeah, so for me, most of the time, I feel like this is what I'm seeing in the charts. Just choppy, 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 sideways, choppy. Big up moves, chop, 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 chop. Big up move, chop, chop, chop. Maybe a big down move and choppy. Not real trending, smooth markets, which is how I trade much better. A lot easier for me. So and those markets will come back. And when they do, I'll start to turn up the heat on my live account and I'll start growing it a lot faster. But right now I'm going to stay with 1 or 2 contracts, sometimes 4 if the move is small, and just slowly keep at it. I like to look at it this way, traders. Sometimes we just got to grind in the kind of like the chop or the flats, if you will. And then when that big wave comes, we can go all in and go for the ride. And then go back to grinding again until that nice big wave comes and then go for the ride again. And right now I'm just grinding. I'm waiting for the next set of waves to come in. And until then, I'll just keep on grinding. I feel pretty good, though, about what's happening with the live account. Okay, so what's next? What happens next? All right, so here we go. And this might give all of you an idea that maybe this can also help all of you out. So live account, nothing changes. Just doing what I'm doing in my live account, grinding it out until the next set of waves comes in. Then I'll grow that account big for a while, and then it'll start to just kind of flatline again. All good. Keep that going. I'm going to start up 2 new combines. 2. One of the reasons is YouTube wants me to produce trades every single day. Whether the market wants to give them to me or not, YouTube wants me to make trades and put them up here. If I don't, then they're not going to show my video as much. They're not going to put it out there in feeds. Searches come up like on the last page because I'm not putting out trades every single day. Whereas other traders who are putting those trades out every single day, YouTube's going to favor them in the search field as far as, and also on your dashboards and all that different kind of stuff. So if I'm going to keep up with YouTube's algorithm and be able to compete in the marketplace, I got to put up trades every day and put those trades up on the channel every day. So I'm going to start 2 new combines. The first one, going back into the NQ again, sticking with the trade plan. I have my long-term trade plan. I don't see trading as like a right here today, I'm going to make a bunch of money, take a payout, and then going into the night, right? I want this to be a long-term thing. So in my long-term plan, I have my YM is already done, secured, live funded account, good to go, not worried about it. NQ, next one in the thing. because NQ and YM, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, trade differently. They're different sectors. Of course, we could see what happens, like what happened back in like 2020, 2021. But the markets, most of the time, if you're in complete different industries, they'll trade a little differently. So NASDAQ and the YM is what I've chosen. NASDAQ can be more of a firecracker. I kind of like that. So going back into the combine with NASDAQ. And if it doesn't work out, I might look at something different. I might look at, oil or something else. But for now, NASDAQ, combine. Get it through the XFA. XFA gets done. Eventually, that'll get rolled into my live account. In my trade log, my trade manager, I'll still keep the funds separate so that I can properly scale each ticker individually, right? I don't want to scale up my account because I'm trading great in the Dow Jones, and then I take trades in the NASDAQ, which I'm not trading great in, at that higher scale, and then destroy my account. So I need to be able to, if the NASDAQ's not doing great right now because the market conditions are not favorable, maybe I'm only trading one contract. Maybe I'm only risking $500 a trade. Whereas in the Dow Jones, market conditions are favorable, things are going great, I'm risking $2,000 a trade. I want to keep the scaling separate for the two of them. And the only way for me to really do that is to track them separately. That's why I kind of like what I'm doing right now, getting into a combine with an idea and a ticker. If it works, I'm getting rewarded with an express funded account. If it continues to work and it shows long-term viability, that'll get rolled into my live account. Keep the accounts separate on paper because Topstep won't separate them for me. I mean, you're only going to have one live account. So on paper, keep them separate, manage my money, and do that. And then if I blow up my NQ side of the paper, then it's gone, right? Erased, have to start over. I'll open a new combine, new concept, work my way through again. Topstep won't blow up my NQ side of the paper. They just see one account, live account, right? I'll blow it up myself and start over. I'm not going to rob money from my success in Dow Jones to continue funding a disaster in the NQ. Not going to do that. All right, so now that's two tickers. I'd like to have three. So then I'm going to start another combine once my NQ is successfully funded in my express funded account. It's big enough and making money. Then I'm going to go ahead and start my next one with gold and then add that to the mix. So long-term picture, I'll have three different tickers, three different industries, if you will, three different set of things that affect it. Although like interest rates could affect the Dow and gold, all that stuff at the same time. So they can be affected a little bit by some news the same, but in generally, I feel like I'm a little bit isolated. If I really want to isolate, I could look at corn or cattle, something like that, gold, and then one of the indexes. Maybe I end up doing that down the road. But for now, the plan is Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and gold. And the biggest reason for it to me is they're separated enough and they both move enough to where I can make a lot of money with them on a daily basis without a lot of contracts, which is what I like. So that's the long-term goal. But I'm going to add another piece to that. Some of you have heard that already. Here's the piece you haven't heard. I'm going to add a fun account. I'm going to add a casino combine. Casino combine coming up on deck. And here's why. So right now, a lot of times when I'm trading sometimes and I see something come up where I really want to trade it, I feel like it's a good trade, I'll switch over and trade it in my sim because it allows me to take the trade, see if I was right. It's kind of, verified because I actually pushed buttons, and it makes me feel a little bit accomplished, but not really, because then it's like, man, I took that trade. I should have just took that on my live account. That was a good trade. I should have just took it on my funded account. I could have made money. I start thinking like that. And then if my sim account is growing and doing well, which actually my sim account is doing pretty good, made $8,000 last week in my sim account. But if my sim account's doing good, then maybe there's something there and I could trade it. So that's kind of what the idea was. But I'm going to do that with a combine instead. And here's why. If I sit there all day again, like all day, and I trade in my sim account, I don't really have anything to show for that other than my sim account. So there's still some emotional fitness to deal with there and some trader personality I have to deal with there. But I wonder if I trade in a combine when I'm feeling like casino trading, then there's some reward potentially for my work. Even though it's a casino trade, trading on discretion, there's reward there. So now it makes that much easier to jump over there and take those trades and not risk my funded accounts. At the same time as when those trades don't work out, there's also some punishment there, but not one with real like big consequences, because it's just my casino account. I know I expect to blow it up eventually, but there's some consequence there. So that might help with the trader education personality side of things, mental fitness side of things a little bit more. And if I get lucky in the casino account and it turns into an XFA, then maybe there's something there I need to pay more attention to. So for fun, I'm going to do that. And then that'll also let me take trades every single day and put content up on the channel. And so I'm going to do that starting this weekend. I will be opening a new combine for the NQ, trading with my indicators again, so I can satisfy that part of my personality. And I'll be opening up my casino combine to satisfy the FOMO, and maybe I'll get some reward for that as well. And maybe even more importantly, I'll have some discoveries that help improve my trading and maybe include more discretion into my trading. All right, everybody, so that's where we're at. There's the update. Hope you all had a great week trading. Hopefully anybody who traded today made a ton of money on the sell-off, and you'll have a good weekend, and then we'll see you next week.